number one.
Survivor 50?
Yeah.
What's up, everybody? My name's Josh.
And my name's Nick.
And we're here to give you
a reality check. Yes, ma'am. You know you need one. Back again, episode 5, Survivor 48. We have the beautiful Sue Smey, Miss Tsunami, back with us. I'm so grateful.
Hi, everyone.
She has extended the contract here at the Reality Check studio. She's here for her residency at the Reality Check.
I'm moving in.
She's moving in full time for the rest of Survivor 48, right?
Yeah, I'm loving this. This is so fun for me. I enjoy this every time getting together with you guys.
Well, however much fun you're having, we're having just double, triple.
Okay.
If you guys want Sue Smey in more than just Survivor 48, let us know in the comments below if you want to see Sue Smey take over any other reality TV shows that we do, because we love to ride the tsunami bomb.
Yeah, tsunami will never die.
That's right. I'm game. I'm game.
Yeah.
And talking about things that died, alliances that we thought were going to make it are gone. How do we feel? California Girls has come to an end. Thomas is gone. What are we thinking? I know this was your number one for the both of you, so.
Yeah. I fear that the universe knew they would be too iconic. So it just had to snip it at the bud,
I wasn't a fan of that alliance. I like, I like.
Well, there are some people in that alliance that,
yes,
we
There's some people I love and I want to get going and move forward. But I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like the big bros doing a California Girls thing. I don't know. It didn't do anything for me.
Yeah. I definitely loved Thomas and Bianca's alliance more for Thomas than the California Girls. But there was a little bit of iconness to that alliance that I was like, if they could take this from day one, it would have been really cool to see. But
yeah.
I mean, I'm rooting for Joe. I was rooting for Joe. Whatever his name is, I don't really care.
The guy with the beard.
Yeah, him. Yeah. It is what it is. Thomas and Joe, I was rooting for them.
Yes, 100%.
Whether they were going to grab somebody, Joe had Eva and then Thomas had Bianca, and maybe they were going to then become a 4. I was so here for that, but
Joe is someone that I would, if that were me out there, I would attach myself to and just want to be a rider.
I could see you guys being in the Joe and Sue alliance. I feel like would be so good.
He would totally be my number one.
Survivor 50?
Yeah. He would absolutely be someone that I think is reliable, honest, trustworthy, but still badass when he needs to be badass. I'm hoping I think we got a lot more to come with him. I think we got a lot more to come.
And we see after they get back from Tribal last night, after having been duped, played, and gooped with Thomas's elimination, he's still very amicable. He's like, that's the game. We got played. Great job. You played your idol perfectly. And, all we can do is move forward. And we see this budding relationship with the 4 of them later in the episode. So,
all I have to say is when you have a night like that, all you're thinking was, thank God it wasn't me. So whether your number one goes home or not, your main focus is it wasn't me. So that's where they're going to be okay, because they're shocked and they're probably impressed, shocked, blown away that their alliance was broken and that they got duped. But in the same breath, they're still there. So okay, well, move forward.
Talking about getting duped, us as the audience had gotten duped that night before because we thought that it was just an idol play. Yes. Little do we know, Kyle dropped the bomb. We had to burn Camilla's extra vote. Oh my God. I was I was latching on to the idea that they had this extra vote for, God forbid, they had to go back to Tribal and it was the 4 of them. At least Kyle and Camilla had the extra vote, but it's gone now.
So there's nothing now, nothing out there for those guys.
No.
It's all.
Unless the original idol they're on the Vula tribe now. The original idol from the Vula tribe was played. So it should be on that beach.
Yes.
They just haven't found it yet.
Right. Right.
So it's out there.
Right.
It's out there. They just gotta find it.
Come on.
I was shocked this episode. We jumped right into a challenge.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, wait, what? But
They
then
didn't skip a beat.
it was like boom, boom, boom. And we got a reward challenge.
Right.
Yeah. I feel some type of way about this. I'm not gonna lie, because in Old Survivor, it was one reward challenge. I mean, one win. There was one thing. There was one reward. Now we're having a full feast for first place.
But they never did 3 tribes back then.
But still, it should be winner take. I believe it should be winner takes all.
Yeah. They really are lightening up a little bit. I don't know. And the fact that like a few of one of the islands, they have a lot of fruits and some sort of vegetable or something, I think. Like there's food out there. I know when we were there, we had 0. We had nothing. So I'm just surprised that they're offering much more than what they normally do.
Yeah, I think that they give the 2 rewards because you guys do start with such, 0 negative baseline, nothing. So I don't know. I don't mind that they give 2 because what would happen after the first tribe wins? The challenge stops.
Right.
So I think it keeps it more interesting for the viewer.
No, it's just like one. Yeah, you're right. But But in the same breath, like, I don't know, it's sort of fun. Like, I don't know, like the game of Survivor is, like starving.
It's rough. Yeah.
It's supposed to be rough, not things handed to you on day 10.
Participation trophies out on this island. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it's interesting to see how it's definitely, not that it's softer, because it's not softer, but like them doing something like this it's interesting to see.
I think they definitely have taken the edge off of Survivor for sure. I really do think that the harshness of Survivor in like from the production standpoint of them being kind of more rigid has eased, I think, for sure.
Right.
This reward challenge we saw was pastries and a lot more of, there was croissants, there was the ham and cheese croissants. The winner goes to the sanctuary. Sue, when you were on the island and you heard that it was a reward challenge, what were you hoping the reward was? Did you want a pastry? Did you want a cheeseburger? Like, what were you looking for?
No, like you want meat. You want like a burger, fries, milkshakes, anything like
milkshakes.
Milkshakes, yeah. I wanted orange soda. Like I was always craving like ribs, cheeseburgers, something big and fat and juicy, and because you're missing so much. And then that when you're starving, you're no longer hungry, but you're fantasizing about food 24/7. So there's a difference. And then the problem is once you eat food, you go through that whole hunger pains again, where you're hungry again. So it's interesting that once you stop eating, you're sort of okay. You're not realizing it's taking it off your body and you're just withering away, but it's just like we spoke about, and bacon. We spoke about bacon all day long, every day, like bacon on everything. So bacon was a big thing that we all wanted.
Do you remember how much weight you lost being out there?
Yeah, well, I lost probably 20. I went in at 114. And at one point when we had gone to the sanctuary and we had eaten and we measured me and I was, I think 94 pounds, but that was after eating food. Yeah. So I think I was down just in the low 90s. Yeah. So I lost, but everybody lost 15 to 25 pounds easy.
I need to get on that island.
I need to get on that island right now.
I need that Survivor Zempic. Okay.
No,
that is, yeah.
Suit season. Like
reward. Yeah, exactly.
Now you seem like you've kept a lot of your Survivor loss off.
No, I think I'm back to where in my normal range. It took me a long time to come back. It took me about 2 months to actually feel healthy again. I went through a lot of stomach issues. I went through like 2 months of I didn't go to the gym. I didn't do anything. I was not feeling good. I even was tested for parasites, negative, of course, but like there were a few of us that it took us a long time to recover. And then a few of the cast members bounced back, gained their weight back immediately. And it was no big deal.
Yeah.
Like I would think that Soul bounced back. Like he gives me the energy. Like He got right on the Ponderosa, had a bite of a burger, was ready to go push some weight.
Oh my God, what was your Ponderosa meal, Sue?
I only had one opportunity for it, and what happened is we got to go back on Rachel and Sam. When we left Final Tribal, we had the big party. They all left, and then we were a little bit longer, and then they took us back on Jeff's private yacht. So the three of us were on his yacht, and usually that's when you get food. But I guess because this was the final night, we when we arrived, you walked into Ponderosa, the big cafeteria, and there was the longest table stretching the span of the whole room, just filled with food and their meals. And then we got to order whatever we wanted. I ordered spaghetti and meatballs, French fries, and chicken wings, and then ice cream, of course. But I only was able to eat probably one, maybe two bites of everything.
Yeah.
Like I just needed that taste, but I couldn't eat. And because I did have pizza at the finale too. So once we got pizza, I probably had 4 slices of pizza.
Well, you also ate that morning too.
What's that?
Don't you have your, like, the morning of Final Tribal, like your last day on the island?
Yes.
You get a good breakfast.
Yeah, so we had, and all we wanted were croissants, like chocolate croissants, and we got chocolate croissants, and we got whatever we got, we ate. And then we actually had pancake batter. We were so full that we waited for the pancake batter till much later in the day and then cooked that. So yeah, so that, I started eating on the day of the finale, my birthday, and then it didn't stop.
What an awesome birthday. Like a Survivor finale, top 3 breakfast, Jeff's yacht, everything.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Wow.
I don't know if I'll ever be able to top that.
Yeah. Survivor 50, you will.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Well, pushing this back to the episode, at the end of the reward challenge, we saw that Loggy wins and Bula comes in second. Siva, unfortunately, did not win, and we had some commentary from our girl Say about how the winners were reacting about getting their food. Let's just call it what it is. You're like, I'm not here for it.
Yeah.
Say is a sore loser. That's all it comes down to.
What you guys think? I wanted to shoot her. I'm just like, are you kidding me?
I was
were you shocked?
I was like, oh,
stir that pot.
Now, speaking of stirring the pot, Miss Say, and it goes again back to what I said last week about her right before the tribe swap being like, I can't wait to watch them all eat each other.
Yeah.
Why are you saying this kind of stuff? Like, you want these people to like you.
You do.
Like,
she doesn't.
I don't get it.
I don't think she wants any. I don't think she's self-aware of how she presents herself, her delivery, the words she's choosing to say. And I think she's offending everyone. I don't know one person even if you're not with her, you're annoyed by her. I know I would not want to be living with her.
Yeah. And like, weren't you the girl last week who was literally in tears because you won the challenge?
Yeah, grateful and like, showed good positive emotion.
And nobody said anything to you that you were doing too. Like,
yeah,
I don't get it.
I can't say that I don't from a viewer, I understand why she said what she said. I'm not saying that I agree with it. But I can understand the frustration she probably feels hearing them talk about how they have food and they just want food and they don't have a lot of food. But that doesn't diminish the fact that there are other people on the island that you have to take their feelings into consideration, because if you make it to the end, these people are going to be voting for you. So you don't want to, what I mean? Like,
but you know what? She might be setting herself up to be a goat to the end. People might take her.
I don't know if anybody. True.
Nobody would pick her. She's rubbed everybody the wrong way all season.
But I think she's so extreme though that nobody's going to want her. Like, who wants to deal with her for 10 more days, 15 more days? No, I know I would absolutely. That's such a to me, a negative vibe, an angry, negative vibe that draws all of your energy out of you. You need a little bit more peace and kumbaya, fun, happiness, someone that you're comfortable with. This is something I like to say. I liked her brain. I love how she thinks, but she shouldn't be saying, she needs a filter. And I do believe that because it was Mary talking about the win and talking about everything, I think that was like a little stab and twist that knife, that if it were anybody else saying it, it may not have triggered her the way she was triggered. So I don't know for sure, but I feel like it was when Mary started talking that really pissed her off.
Yeah, it's like that's something you say back at camp.
Yes.
Like once you put those, garlic bulbs down and you get back to camp, that is when you go into how upset you are with the other tribes.
Yeah.
Like talk with your tribe members about how you feel.
Yeah, that could be a bonding experience. You could bond over your frustration with, your other people.
You actually can. And she's just not thinking about how she's representing herself at all. And she's just going to push. There's no way she can keep going forward too much longer. I don't see anybody wanting to be dealing with her.
Yeah. I hate to put the comparison, and I feel like we touched about this in a few episodes ago, me and Nick, but I feel like as a viewer, I feel like the castaways are viewing her this season similarly how 47 was viewing Rome. I felt like it was kind of like you're coming off as a lot and you're not blending well with everybody. And the only way for us to feel fully blended is to take out the piece,
Yeah.
I was looking forward to the Chrissy and Say interactions.
Yeah.
Now, Sue, I have a question because food is, few and far between on Survivor, obviously. Are you monitoring mentally who's eating what?
Yes. Yes, you are. You're monitoring, you're watching who's taking what, you're watching who's coming back. Andy came back a lot. He always he would like shovel down that rice when we got the rice, and then he'd be going back and we'd be like, okay, Andy. I mean, he was okay. I mean, he didn't go crazy, but like you notice who's doing what. And like I thought we were all very respectful about our portions. And Andy, if you would say something, he'd be like, oh, here, let me give you. So he was very good, but I don't think you could ever say anything to her without her exploding and just like gaslighting you.
She was not putting that kiwi down or giving anyone a bite. Let me tell you.
She wasn't understanding I don't think she was understanding the whole overall concept
of it.
Yeah. I don't think she cares. I think Chrissy, I mean, I could feel the rage inside, how I would be feeling if that were me there. I would be very upset.
And it ties back to the whole like overarching theme of Survivor. I swear it should be outwit, outplay, and self-awareness, because like people will give you social cues. They will give you them. You just have to be able to interpret them. And Chrissy talking about the fruit right next to Say as she's eating it, if I was Say, I would kind of be like, oh, that's kind of like a nudge. Maybe I should put this second one down.
Yeah.
Like
say something appropriate to reply to that. How old is Say?
She's younger than us, I think. I think she's 24.
Okay, well, there you go. That says a lot.
Yeah.
She's in her early 20s for sure.
Okay, well, that just says a lot. She's still
What I did love about Chrissy, not just the fact that we are finally getting Chrissy's screen time, I loved that Chrissy and Mitch didn't have the best relationship. And we saw that this frustration with Say brought them together. They were able to, sit on the beach and have a little chat and be like, listen, I can't live with her. I can't work with her. Someone's got to go. And if it's between one of us 5, she's got to go.
Yeah, well, it's almost like, you got to go with the devil you know best, right? So if her and Mitch were not so good, but Mitch was a way better option than Say. I mean, and Say just has to be herself, and nobody wants to be with her.
Yeah. And also, one thing I did love, and that, as we get past the next immunity challenge, so we'll touch on it again later, is that Chrissy never felt the need to expose the fact that Mitch has an advantage.
Right.
They were like locked in.
I didn't even think of that.
It was like, look, we know we weren't really, BFFs on the original Siva tribe, but like we're all we have now.
Yeah.
So we either make it work or, we get gone. So I love how we saw Bianca in the middle of these two pairs immediately went from the easy out to the swing vote. she had a very good position, which we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah.
But we get, a little misstep from Miss Bianca a little bit later in the episode, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
I can't wait to talk about that.
Yeah, the next topic of conversation is chugging a gallon of milk on Survivor.
No, because that was so cringy.
That music, I mean, is that what all they've got? Like I said, last season was so funny and so many good moments. That was just, I'm like, I cannot believe that
I already don't really love David. Okay. He for me, in my opinion, and as I feel as thou, he is getting nothing. He's getting nothing. He's just there. He's just someone for everybody.
He's getting calcium for sure.
He is definitely giving calcium. I don't know. It was so cringy for me.
I wasn't a fan. I just was staring at the show thinking to myself, who thought of
how did that make it? Like, who on the editor's floor was like this?
I mean, don't you want to see more of them and the way they're living and everything about what they're doing, not how many long, you're wasting it on chugging milk.
Or at least show us some tea. Like, we got Eva was dragging Charity through the mud a little bit. We saw that Loggy as a whole does not like Say, which shocker. Shocker.
But that's what we want to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why they felt the need to try and seduce us with David chugging this milk. Like, as much as they wanted to include that moment, I feel like it could have been included in a much shorter, much less zoom in heavy clip.
It was like a milk commercial.
Yeah, like, got milk, David? Like, yeah. Now look, David, if you do got milk, no, I was kidding.
I do like David, though. I like David.
I like David too.
Okay, I like David. Was just.
He can get the next boot if you ask me.
Okay. Why don't you like him?
When I see somebody who's of a physical appearance like David, I'm expecting him to get a Joe edit. And he is not getting a Joe edit. Joe is getting the physical beast. Kyle's getting physical edit. Joe is not getting that. Like, I feel like Joe is just there.
David.
Oh, sorry. I feel like David is just there and not really giving what I expected him as a viewer. I expect him to be picking up logs and dragging them and building stuff.
But David talked about how he didn't want to be perceived that way.
I know.
He's like, silly, goofy David,
But like, you're going to come on the island with an 8-pack looking like that, and you're going to give me...
And you're a stunt man. We need you jumping off cliffs and doing cool
do something.
Entertaining, not
climb a tree like Ozzy back in the day. Yes. I don't know, but do something.
Yeah.
Not everybody's the same, Josh. You can't put everybody in the same box, Josh, just because he has biceps.
I do like to look at him, but I don't think that he's giving anything to the game.
Yeah, it could just be the edit. You never know.
That is true.
But that's where the edit needs to be, more about what we're interested in watching, not him chugging milk.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't tell me anything. I mean, we got a very vulnerable moment with David a few episodes ago about his current home situation. And, I felt like we were starting to peek into his life a little bit. So now we know that he lives at his dad's house. His girlfriend's going to break up with him and he loves milk. Like, these are the key takeaways. This is what Survivor wants us to know about David, which is a little confusing for me. It feels like they're grabbing at straws a little bit to force.
You know why? Because they're casting, when they do casting, they cast you because of your career or because of something wild and crazy and a little out of the norm. So when they cast you as this and then they bring you in with that same persona, then like you're expecting that, like you're saying, he's just like a regular like a guy on the
Yeah.
show compared to when they casted him. They probably thought these spectacular things, their images, it's spectacular guy. He's a stunt man. He does crazy things. He's an adrenaline junkie, you know, like, and there's just nothing adrenaline about it other than his love for milk.
You hit it on the hammer.
I hope that maybe if he makes it to further into the individual portion of the game, that we get to see a little bit more of his competitive adrenaline side, but you know, only time will tell.
Yeah.
But we move into another less milk covered moment with Vula, and they are talking about just kind of how food brings people together, all of their ethnicities, their histories, their families. And it's just another moment on Survivor where, like, you know, we're all dirty, nasty, stinky, and sharing this reward and just talking about ourselves. It's another beautiful moment.
It is, absolutely. And those are the parts that I think I personally feel I like seeing more of. I want to get to know them and know, you know, the different stories. And this is what makes the world go around, is all the different pain and sorrow and good things and bad things and everything, you know, the people that have survived things. Like this is the heart and soul of what Survivor's always done for us too.
Yeah.
And getting more of that is what the audience sort of requires.
Yeah. No, you took it right out of our mouths. We all experienced this while watching it. Our hearts were pulled on. We love to get a deep dive into everybody's life, why they're here, what motivates them, all of that. And it seems like we might have I don't want to say anything yet, but we have a Kumbaya Jumbo alliance within the Vula. They all want to work them for, which would be iconic.
Yeah.
But
we gotta get there.
How long is this gonna last?
Yeah.
I know. Well, do you know what? Going back to that, what I think I like even more is when you are out on this island and you're willing to, there's a lot of people that won't open up, right, about their personal lives. So the fact that you got all of these men, especially, opening up and talking about deep, important, personal experiences in their lives, that's what's so incredible to me. Because, you know, women will talk about everything, you know, but when you got a group of bros, right, like they're bros.
They're in the guys club for sure.
They're the guys club, yeah. And that they're opening up. I think Survivor does that to you. You know, when you're living with people that nobody understands the bond you create with each other while you're there, that it'll never go away. You know, even if you do burn each other, whatever, there's still that bond there. That's knowing, you know, each of us individually are personal people and friends and families and strengths and everything. So I thought it was impressive to have the men open up the way they did.
Yeah. And imagine like the example that Joe is setting, you know, to his daughters, being like, it is, you know, you need to share, you need to open up about things that you feel are important. Because if you don't talk about them, you know, nobody's going to know that they're there. So
exactly.
This was like a really, really touching, sensitive topic. Like, you know, especially when Joe and Kyle were like, listen, like, you know, Joe let us know his history. You know, his mom is white, his dad is black. They grew up in a time where there was a lot of, for lack of a better term, a lot of shit happening in America.
Yeah.
And they lived through that, and they have I don't want to say that they're you know, they have a connection over this because it's something taboo to talk about, but like, you know, it's something that needs to be spoken about. And I just love that they're bringing this to attention, and they're, you know, letting us know that these are conversations that this didn't happen 100 years ago, 200 years ago. No. This was like 50 years ago. Like, this is very current still. So I was really appreciative of that.
Yeah. I have goosebumps. You just talking about it. It's beautiful. It's just a beautiful thing to be talking about.
Yeah. And I think that this connection of this tribe opening up on a personal level may have been why the Vula curse of immunity challenges was broken.
Yes, I agree. I agree. All good vibes. All good vibes.
You have to be a team to win as a team, you know? So I think getting into this immunity challenge, we see, you know, we're finally in the water. I feel like we haven't really been in the water too much this season, but we have, Sue Smey with us, so I get excited. We have a boat pulling challenge. Yeah. We are pulling a big old boat into shore. Those boats look heavy.
Yeah.
Oh,
they are
heavy.
They are. They're solid, heavy boats. They're
some sturdy oak. Yeah.
A sturdy oak.
So we see them. We got to pull in a boat. We have to unbraid a key from a braided up, 3 braided up ropes, and then we have to dig, and then there's a puzzle. I was sitting there watching the braid thing, and I was like, oh, I would kill this. My sister makes me French braid her hair every night before work. I'm like, that's how you know that like all these bros, they were struggling on how to unwrap a braid.
The thing that I didn't understand about the braid unwrapping is that in my head, watching this from the couch, I'm like, okay, they got to pick it up and we know how to braid hair.
Yeah.
But they're just leaving the slack. Pull the slack with you.
Make it tight. Yeah, make it tight.
Rope management is key. Yeah.
I was like screaming, like, pick up the rope. What are you doing?
It's shocking and it's easy again when we're here on the couch, but like that's almost like common sense. And I feel like every show you've ever watched that has any type of rope stuff, you keep the rope tight so you can watch it and pay attention.
Yes.
Yeah. Rope management is key. The one thing I did love about this challenge is that everybody was responsible for participating.
Yes.
I loved because we got to see kind of where some of the weaknesses hit for some people and, where some strengths were being pointed out, because we see Mitch in a lot of these challenges when it comes to like things with balls and like throwing and tossing, whatever, he's killing it. He hit his, boom. And everybody else,
Yeah. Oh yeah. You're just,
so it wasn't as easy. It wasn't as easy for everybody. But
no.
I was shaking in my boots at this one. I'm not even gonna lie. Like, it was very neck and like I love that. Nick, I don't know, Sue, if you know this. Actually, you might, because Chelsea's our age too. But like back in the day when we had arcades and you had that little game and it was like
the mountain.
And you had to bring that's all I thought about.
Oh my God.
And I used to love that game.
Did you?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Loved it.
Yeah, this ball puzzle, like rolling ball maze, was different because it had like the jumps. You had to get over them. So it was interesting to see because somebody could get on a roll really quickly and just knock out all 4 balls, but we had the hiccup of everybody having to complete one. So I really loved it. It was tight. It was neck and neck. They were going back and forth. Sue, were there any challenges going into Survivor you were like, I hope to God they don't give us this one? I really do not want to see blank.
The one challenge that I didn't want to do that I probably would have actually sat out, but that was more when it was individual, was the water one, the last gasp.
Oh, with the cage?
Yeah.
I feel like I would eat that.
Do you know what? I think that because, I thought about it a lot and I'm like, Caroline is a water polo player, all of them, I'm always cold. And so when I scuba dive, but when I go scuba diving, like my body's shaking after 20 minutes, like inside because I'm cold. Yeah. So I just knew that like, why waste my energy unless if they weren't water people, it would have been good. But like, that was the one thing I'm like, please don't come up, because I probably would have just said, what, I'm not going to waste my energy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I've always wanted to try that one. It's scary. It scares me. And I totally see where you're coming from. But the Survivor fan in me is like,
I feel like I'd be good because I would put I was just like, I've always thought about it. I'm like, I'll put my legs around. I'm going to put my face as far up as possible. I wasn't worried about the breathing end of it. Yeah. I was worried about the cold end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you're strong. You got that mental.
Yeah. If I had to, I probably would. But, that was the one I was praying to not, come out, just because. And for me, once I get cold, I'm cold for the night, and I don't need to be cold for the night. It's
especially on Survivor. You can't go, throw your clothes in the dryer and take a shower.
No, they're wet. They stay wet all night and all day. Yeah, they don't dry.
The one that I would be most scared for is the one where you're standing on the pole and you have the little
Yeah.
Oh,
this iconic Parvati side stand.
yes.
Like,
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one that
Yeah, because you're big, like you're a big boy. You know, so
I am 223 pounds.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I up there.
No way, huh?
No, it ain't happening.
Yeah.
Okay.
That one's always freaked me out too, because I'm like, what happens, like, you know, if you just slip from the top?
Yeah.
Ooh, dead, neck broken.
That is crazy. Injured, yes.
But moving back into this immunity challenge, we see a very tight race towards the end, and ultimately Vula takes the cake in first place. They knocked out that puzzle, and then we had Lagi come in second after a very hard-fought battle by Eva to get that last ball into the puzzle, meaning that Siva is headed to Tribal Council.
Right.
We had a very big moment at the end of this challenge. If you did not see the episode, go back and watch it, because this very powerful, very heartstring pulling, touching, real world moment happens at the end of this challenge. And we see the first kind of battle on Eva's end against somebody having autism out on the island. We see her first episode, as she calls them, kind of come up, and it was a big one. It was a big moment. So
it was, you know, I have to say, you know, watching what this episode did for me in this show, it blew my mind. I think it warmed, I don't know, one person in America that can't be in love with this episode and this season of what happened with this, and like how they panned into Joe's gaze, and you could see like he was so locked in on Eva, trying to like get her strength back and give her power, and just like, come on, Eva, you got it, you got it, you got it. And when she didn't have it, you know, you can see he was like silently urging her, you know, to pull through. And like the fact that when they let him go over there, that was like such a beautiful moment, that it was like breathtaking. And just to watch it, I don't know about you guys, but I have like tears rolling down my face.
Oh, yeah.
I feel like this is going to put him as the greatest hero of Survivor ever. You know, like his compassion and his like willingness to expose their relationship for another human who's struggling just was one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen ever on Survivor. And
as we say in the reality check studio, this was a reality check human moment. Like, this was something I don't think
transcended the game. This moment, like,
goosebumps all up and down.
Survivor, the game, Survivor 48 stopped for a minute, and everybody, even Jeff, was touched at the vulnerability of not only Eva, you know, who was willing to kind of open up after she was able to calm down with Joe's help and share what was going on. And because it could have, you know, it takes a big person to be like, hey, everybody here, you know, because sure, all we see is Jeff and the other castaways. There's about 80 camera people.
Oh, easy.
Too,
more than it's like loaded.
It could have been really easy for her to be like, oh, sorry guys, like I just got overwhelmed, you know? And so for her to be kind of now cemented in the Survivor history books as a beacon for other kids who may have a similar, you know, issues and be on a similar autism spectrum as Eva, you know, it now becomes Survivor's casting department has now opened up another page.
100%.
You know, they continue to open up new books every season of things that we as the viewers thought we'd already seen and, you know, didn't even think were an issue, you know? So it was beautiful. It was just a very touching, you know, heartwarming moment.
But just picture yourself having this event or a breakdown, whatever you want to call it, knowing you can't stop, knowing that everyone's just staring at you, right? You've got everybody there staring at you. You got the cameras all probably focused on you. You're knowing that the nation is going to see this. And how does that's just got to make it worse and worse and worse. You're all alone. Like as her parents, that had to kill them to watch this episode. I can't even imagine as a mom watching my child all alone going through this on national TV, you know, and then, you know, so, I mean, just that was more important to me than even her sharing with everyone else, which I'm glad she did. But that moment, and then him coming to her aid, it was literally one of the most beautiful moments. He was no longer a competitor. You know what I mean? He was her companion. Whatever strength to just get her through it, and he just say lifesaver. It was just a very touching thing. I felt very touching thing.
Yeah, it takes a lot to make Jeff break, character.
We've
Jeff,
never seen
Survivor
him,
Jeff.
right?
Yeah, so it was a beautiful moment, and we could sit here and talk about it.
Talking about things that were broken, we finally got Star's Beware advantage broken open.
Oh my God, yes.
Wow. This was her first. Wait. This was one of, I think, the only times in Survivor history where after an immunity challenge, we went to the tribe of a winning tribe. We never see any storyline from a winning tribe after they have won immunity. And I was like, wait, did they win? I was like, why are we here? And then obviously it was because Star found her idol. I think they could have saved that for the next day, the next episode, maybe. Yeah. But I think they were kind of on the roll with Eva's successes of the day. Yeah. So it felt entertaining with that. How do you feel about Star giving her idol?
I was just going to ask you guys that. I think
I asked you first.
No. Okay, well, then I'll answer you. I would have never given it away. I would have said, this is mine, but ours. And if I feel you need it, I will give it to you. Yeah. Maybe, maybe not. But I would have never given it away. I don't care. I would have kept that thing and just kept trying to get it and getting someone to help me, whatever it was. I was blown away that she gave that away. 100% just gave it away.
Because once you say those words on Survivor, this is yours, it's gone. It's done. So it was.
What do you guys think?
I feel the same way. I was just like,
I feel both, and I'll explain why. I feel, as you said, this is my safety. This is my net. I am going to use this. If you need it, I will give it. Maybe, maybe not. But we saw that the entire previous of Loggy, even Star, were kind of going at each other. And I think that Star and Eva were genuinely building a relationship that was maybe extending outside of the game. And I think that maybe this was Star's way of extending that olive branch of, I not only want to work with you, I want to make sure that you are also good. And I think it was a combination of being congenial while also maybe trying to have some strategy. May it bite Star in the ass in the future? Most likely, yeah. Let's be honest.
Guess what? If they lose next week, guess what? Star's going to be crapping her pants. Yeah. Right? Why would you ever give away? I get it. Yeah. You want to do nice and all this stuff. You can say all you want. I would have never, ever given away that idol. I found that we'll figure out how to open up. If you help me open it up. Yeah, I obviously would 100% save you if I have to, but that's going in my pocket. I would.
Yeah, it can be for we
right now.
Yeah, it can be for we, but it's it's going to stay with me. It's going to stay with me for sure.
And it's easy to say it the other way until you're on that island. Safety is your main goal. You want to be safe.
Yeah,
I think I was just so happy to see that Star. Listen, we've all felt empathy for Star. On our sleeve. It's been very much we feel like she was getting, lack of a better term, we felt like she was being bullied away in a way.
Yeah.
And it was just
more reason to keep it.
Yeah. I mean, you're right. I just think it was so nice to finally see Star build relationships, regardless of how that happened. And not only just build relationships with the person that you were kind of butting heads with to begin with. So I think it was a great moment, not the best gesture, but all in all, I'm happy and I'm excited to see where it brings their relationship. Idol or no idol. Hopefully that we can see them have some kind of, alliance moving forward.
I hope it's real. I hope that it's real. I hope that it's not just the heat of this moment after this beautiful moment on the beach. Star got swept away into this moment of giving and, empathy for Eva, and that their relationship is actually on the mend and on the rise. And we can see the two of them work together in the long run.
Because here's what I want to say is, first of all, you got to factor in all these things. First of all, you don't want to go to the final with Eva, right? Her story, what happened this last week, everything about her is, how do you not give her the money? You don't want to sit next to her.
I said that to Josh. I said, I feel so moved by her, but she just tanked her game.
Yeah.
There's no way you sit next to Eva at the end now.
No way. And then we now know she's got Josh, right? They're like this. And they also have. They also
you mean Joe? She has Joe. Not Josh.
Oh, sorry, Josh.
That's why he did that.
Listen, don't apologize for me. I would love to be on the island.
Well, she's got Joe. She's got Joe, and that's like this. Even you and her like this, maybe, but her and Joe.
One day.
Yeah. And then Joe's got his group. So I'm thinking there's a huge alliance that Eva's going to be protected for a long time. So Star, maybe not thinking that, like, they did have a good kumbaya moment on the beach before they came up with the word to open up the cylinder.
They were silent, right?
Yes. But so God bless you. So they had a good moment. I felt like Star opened up that on the beach, being like, oh my God, like, I do like you. I want to work with you. It probably made a little more sense why she drove her crazy, whatever it was. I felt like it could have ended there. Like, she didn't have to go that next step and be like, okay, well, I like you so much now, I'm going to give away my shot at immunity.
Oof, that's crazy.
Never.
Yeah, unfortunately, fortunately for them, Eva doesn't have to use that idol quite yet, because Siva is the one on the chopping block. So finally, we get to see some Siva strategic talks, some strategy, and Miss Bianca is, working her little tail feather off.
Boy, is she
for this tribal. And I think I'm going to say something vulnerable and yet brave. If she had just shut up and just let the two come to her, these are my flight attendant hands. If she had just let the two of them come to her and, be the swing, just a silent swing vote, and forced a tie and been like, oh my goodness, what? She would have been fine. She would have been fine.
Would have been fine. And that's the problem. Like, what is wrong with these people? It's not like she had a bond with, like, came in with a bond with anybody. They already had their bond there. They had their bond there. And like we saw with, who else were we talking about? Mitch and Chrissy. Like, when you all of a sudden have new people in, you want your old people back. So like, they were already there. They're going after each other. Like, I don't get it. Like,
and she was doing good. She was good. She was working both sides. It was great. And then she made the fatal mistake right before tribal and utters the words.
The confessionals to Cedric.
Yeah, to Cedric, who obviously Bianca isn't privy to this, has had some very interesting tribal council decisions up until this point. Exactly. So if there's one person you don't want to tell a secret, it's Cedric. But we moved to tribal, and it's a very typical tribal council. Jeff is very, aware that it's 2, 2, and 1. Right. Kind of feeding that line of questioning. But the plot twist of the season, I don't know about you guys, I was shocked. That tribal, I don't know, like, there was a misedit. I just didn't want to believe it was going to happen. Yeah. But the second that she told Cedric that she didn't have a vote, I was like,
but there was a misedit. I feel like something was a little bit off. I feel like how did we not see any communication between Cedric and Chrissy? Like,
because we spent too much time with Star handing out idols.
Yeah.
Something like, why? Like, we could have used that time of David drinking milk to get the conversation
to at least be on our toes, right? To be like, oh my God, is Cedric gonna go to Chrissy? Is he gonna go to what's he gonna do? Or but like, there was not even a hint that this is gonna happen.
I literally wrote down Siva ... I really don't know what is going on or who is going home. And then the next line was, why is this not that juicy, but also tea at the same time?
Yeah. Yeah. You're right.
No, it was because and I feel like it was another one of those moments that Survivor loves to pull of keeping the viewer out of the loop.
Yeah.
So we have that shock factor when the urn is, the votes are read, it's out of the urn.
True.
So whether you like that or you hate that, I still do feel like we spent way too much time with the winning tribe after tribal. That's not what time is supposed to be for, So it just irked me a little bit because Bianca was working really hard, and I feel like the edit didn't do her gameplay justice, and we don't have any insight into Cedric's mind as to why he decided to go with against Bianca. So
I felt like if they had shown us Cedric approaching Chrissy, even if they ended with him being like, Chrissy, can we talk? We would have, I was hoping to get something out of Cedric, like some real gameplay. Yeah. And obviously there was, but like they didn't even like give us a taste of it. Like how can you think he did anything spectacular? Because there was not even a hint that he went to Chrissy, and then why won't you take Say out? Like that's you both did that at the exact same time.
Literally, like obviously, I've been saying it multiple times. I've been yearning for more Chrissy content. Like that decision was half hers too.
Yes.
So like, what was the mindset?
And I don't feel like Mitch knew. I don't feel like anybody.
Mitch and Say, I think both were like.
They were like, "What the hell is going on?"
Yeah,
that's what was so weird. Like it didn't make sense. And Bianca was a third person. That she's desperate to be in with your group. Keep the third wheel.
Yeah. Now you're just gonna be like this next week if you have to go to tribal. Can
you imagine?
I think here's what I think is going to happen in this upcoming episode. We're going to get the post-tribal breakdown, and it's going to be a flashback of them running around right before, and then it's going to be a Chrissy and Cedric moment of them being like, okay, next week if we go to tribal, us three taking out Say. I think that's what happens next.
Can you imagine?
Go ahead. I think Say's going to try to pull Cedric to the
side. Wait, it's the merge. It's the merge next week.
It is?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah, they use the drop your buffs.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
The mergatory begins next week, and unfortunately, Ms. Bianca, she will not be there to see it. She was fun. Taking out Thomas and Bianca back to back just took a little piece of my soul away.
It did.
Again, the universe knew that they would be too iconic to go too far into the game.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed this episode. I look forward to the mergatory breakdown next week. And yeah, any final thoughts from episode 5?
I'm sad to see Bianca go. I was really excited to see, like you said, what she was going to give with Thomas. I felt like her and Loggy potentially all coming back together from the original tribe into the merge would have been a really strong and like nerve-wracking group of 6.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I love good TV, and she wasn't giving me the great TV that everybody else was. So,
yeah.
It's gonna really be interesting, the whole dynamic, especially like with the the bros, and what they're doing and how they're gonna merge with the new people, and Say and what just all of them made comments and faces, when she opened her mouth and was talking. So, and did she even choose herself to sit out of the challenge or something?
Yeah, because she needed a break. Yeah,
right.
So,
I can't imagine her going far.
We've had only original Vula members gone and original Loggy members gone. We still have all the original Siva.
So, okay. It's gonna be interesting. This is a season of pairs. We have a lot of duos. We have a lot of, little one-on-ones of Camilla and Kyle, Chrissy and Mitch, Say and Cedric. So it's going to be interesting to see. And we'll just have to see how the merge shakes out and who comes back together and, what tribal lines are formed, Yeah.
So, it's going to be exciting.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
As always, we'll see you back next week for not only Survivor 48, but RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17. Right on this couch. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.